Good afternoon. I'm Simil Sareem, and today I'm presenting an exciting opportunity for EY to lead the green logistics revolution in the GCC. This pitch introduces a new advisory vertical focused on supply chain decarbonization. Let's begin. Let me give you a bit of a background. My family business comes from the shipping industry, and that is why this topic really intrigued me, and it made me think what shapes our daily life yet remains so unaccountable where global freight emits over 400 tons of carbon dioxide every 60 seconds. And here in the GCC, logistics is the lifeline of growth, but it's also a silent contributor to rising emissions and regulatory risk. This idea led me to what I'm pitching today, a new consulting practice for EY that helps clients build green supply chain starting here in the Gulf. Let's narrow down to our core problem. GCC countries are sprinting towards net zero goals, yet the very infrastructure that moves goods, the trucks, ships, packaging, warehousing, is stuck in carbon heavy mode. And here's what proves it. Logistic emissions account for over 25% of urban air pollutants in the UAE, whereas 80% of firms don't even have a green procurement strategy. This creates compliance risk, reputation exposure, and inefficiencies. Yet, no major consulting player in the region has made a core effort for this ESG focus. And that's where the gap is. EY has everything to take a lead on this. Globally, EY's climate change and sustainability services team is already trusted for the ESG transformation. And here's where it gets interesting. 64% of Middle Eastern companies say that they have an ESG strategy, but less than 40% have actually addressed supply chain emissions. And that's a major blind spot. At the same time, over 400 billion is being invested in smart logistics and industrial decarbonization under Vision 2030 and UAE Net Zero, which is also a huge opportunity again. Yet, less than 20% of this is supported by consulting services focused on ESG or logistical transformation. And that's where EY's opportunity comes in. There's funding, there's urgency, and there's a serious gap in guidance. We can fill that gap shortly. Our services will consist of the four-phase model, starting with phase 1, carbon diagnostics. We map scope 1 to 3 emissions across a client's supply chain using LCA tools. Moving on to strategy design, we help transition to electric fleets, reverse logistics, circular packaging, and low emission procurements. And will also run pilot programs with smart fulfillment hubs, last mile EV integration, and even blockchain based tracking, tested on a very small scale. And lastly, monitoring and reporting. Clients get compliance ready dashboards aligned with the GCC ESG mandates. These phases are modular right now, but together they create a measurable value. So, who does this service actually serve? We're focusing on three sectors driving the region's logistics footprints and emissions, starting with logistics and 3PL players like Aramax and Emirates Post. Aramax has already piloted electric fleets but lack a full emission roadmap. Emirates Post is also exploring green delivery but needs a structured support to implement. Next, FMCG and retail. Carrefour is committed to net zero, but their cold chain and packaging operations still rely on high emission practices. Noon is expanding fast across the region, but their ESG strategy hasn't caught up. That's where EY can lead. Finally, industrial giants like DP World and Master. DP World is global logistic leader with heavy port emissions. Even a small reduction there repels the whole system. Master has green credentials but needs sustainable logistic integration. So, where does this services actually serve? Geographically, we start in the UAE, especially Dubai and Abu Dhabi, where over 1,000 logistics firms operate here, and the UAE has committed to net zero 2050. The policy landscape is active and open to innovation. Next, Saudi Arabia, with Vision 2030 aiming to make logistics a $60 billion sector, projects like NEOM demand clean supply chains, and EY can support that transformation. This practice positions EY right where urgency meets opportunity. So let's bring this to life with a more realistic approach. Meet Omar Al Mansouri, 28 Emirati, recently appointed as the Director of Transport Strategy at the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure, or in some cases, he might sit within the Dubai RTA. Omar's mandate is clear: help align UAE transport systems with the net zero 2050 vision and Dubai's clean mobility strategy. But here's the catch: he's facing growing pressure to align with the ESG frameworks and global benchmarks. While he understands the urgency, what he really needs is a partner who can translate strategy into execution. And that's where EY comes in. In short, Omar isn't just a client, he's the kind of public leader shaping national momentum, and he needs a consulting partner that he can trust. This isn't just a timely offering, it's a smart investment. These are the strategic value that EY might gain. Our green supply chain practice has the potential to unlock 20 to 30 million dollars in new revenue over the next 3 years, spanning over 5 to 7 anchor clients across the GCC. Moving on, the value goes far beyond the numbers. This positions EY as the first mover in a region where sustainability logistics is about to become a boardroom priority. It's an important opportunity to lead the narrative and not just follow it. We can also see strong cross sell potential. This practice directly connects to EY's existing capabilities in climate and sustainability, tax and technology, creating a pipeline of multi service opportunities. And lastly, it reinforces EY's global brand promise, building a better working world, one supply chain at a time. Of course, with any transformational offering, risk is a part of the territory, but we have anticipated the major roadblocks and designed the mitigation strategy. First, regulatory delays. Rather than waiting on policies, will work within innovation sandboxes like those led by MOIAT and the Dubai Future Foundation, allowing us to pilot, test, and scale responsibly. Secondly, client budget restraints. A phased engagement model ties pricing to measurable ROI, making this less of a cost and more of a value generating investment. And finally, data scarcity. We'll deploy EY's proxy modeling tools and IoT integrated tracking systems, turning even low data environment into insight rich platforms. So each of these risks become a proof point of EY's readiness to lead and not just advise. So, just to wrap things up a little bit, GCC firms are undergoing pressure to align with ESG mandates and decarbonize their logistics. EY stands at a unique intersection combining deep regional relationships, world class ESG capabilities, and scalable digital solution. This new practice doesn't just unlock an advisory revenue, but it builds long term trust and firmly positions EY as a transformational partner for a greener and more resilient Gulf.